So disasters can strike at any time, and you may not always find yourself prepared. September is National Preparedness Month, and to raise awareness of the importance of being prepared for any emergency or disaster. In here to talk about this and what you can do to stay safe is Sherry Congleton from Vilas County Emergency Management. So thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
So first off, can you tell us a bit about your role and what you do?
Well, emergency managers really help communities prepare for disasters. So we do a lot of working with partners to come up with plans and come up with ideas on how we're going to respond if something does happen. And then if something does happen, obviously we respond and do some resource coordination. And then really after the response phase is done, we come in and we try to help communities recover to a pre-disaster condition.
What's like the most common disaster that is experienced in Wisconsin?
I think up in our area, there are a lot of weather emergencies. So we have extreme cold or heat. We could have ice storms in the winter, and then those could ricochet into other things like long-term power outages. We do have wind events and tornadoes, but there are a lot of disasters out there. We have to think about things like even house fires or cyber attacks or other man-made disasters.
So you kind of like cover it all, whether it's weather or man-made.
Correct.
And then what can people do? I mean, it's probably going to depend on the type of emergency, but what can people do to stay prepared and kind of be ahead of that in case of an emergency?
I think one of the big things is know what can happen in your community and think about what would I do if, say, we did have an ice storm that caused a long-term power outage. How would I heat my home if it's in the winter? Or where would I go? Come up with some kind of a plan and then make sure your whole family knows the plan. Maybe prepare a few things in advance, like a to-go bag that might have some granola bars and water, a flashlight with batteries, and definitely, because weather is a big thing up here, sign up for some way to receive weather alerts, whether it's watching your news channel in the morning. If we don't have power, that's going to be tough, so maybe a radio with battery backup. Make sure weather or WIA alerts are enabled on your smartphone, and just have really more than one way to get those alerts. I know in Vilas County, we have a program called Smart 911 where people can opt in to receive emergency alerts or weather alerts. So that's another way, another option that's out there.
Nice. And then if people weren't fully prepared, what can they do if they're in the middle of an emergency to stay safe?
I think the biggest thing is just to stay calm so that you can have that rational thinking and be able to think outside the box. Go back to your basics. Remember, if it's something like a tornado event, I need to go to the basement. And then remember, if there is a life-threatening situation or something, always call 911 so they can try to help you get the resources that you need.
And then the theme of this year's National Preparedness Month is a lasting legacy. So what does this mean to you in terms of like preparedness for disasters?
Well, I think in order to leave a legacy, you need to be prepared yourself so that you don't put yourself in any type of a life-threatening situation. So think about things ahead of time. Be prepared so that you are there to leave a legacy. And then think about things that you have that are going to help you come back to the pre-disaster condition that you have. And it could be something as simple as looking at your homeowner's insurance this month and making sure that you have enough coverage. Things like that so that there is a legacy to leave.
And then where can people go for more information on how to be prepared or just to learn more about the Vilas County Emergency Management?
I think one of the best resources on preparedness out there is readywisconsin.wi.gov. The American Red Cross also has some good stuff on their website, the pre-plans and things like that. Or you can always call your local emergency management office.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's very important, especially this month, to kind of be prepared or be aware so you can be prepared. So thank you so much for joining us and giving us some of those tips.
You're welcome.
All right, and then come